Well, this is a broader question, and it's not just related to bradycardia, but in general to the difficult topic of preventing sudden death in athletes by pre-participation screening. So generally, the most widely adopted tool for screening athletes is the resting electrocardiogram, ECG, because it's easy to perform, it's quick, and cheap, and also is widely available. However, interpretation of those electrocardiograms can be difficult because there are many electrocardiographic abnormalities that are training induced and are not pathological, but overlap with those that can be the sign of a disease at risk of sudden death. And it requires quite a lot of training to be able to differentiate benign exercise-induced ECG changes versus pathological abnormalities. And of course, unfortunately, training is not, physicians that are training interpreted an athlete's heart are not common. So there are many countries where there is not enough expertise to perform this pre-participation screening, and this reduces the effectiveness of the screening and also increases the cost, because if you have an ECG that looks to you as abnormal, whereas it's only an athlete's heart, you will prescribe additional investigations that are expensive. So I think AI will definitely help us in this field because you can train those AI algorithms to differentiate better an athlete's ECG versus a normal ECG, and this will help physicians that are not experts in athlete's heart to perform pre-participation screening, also in settings where the screening is not available because of limitation in physician training. So I think it will definitely help us. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to tell that in general, peer review today is a very difficult task because it's based on volunteers that dedicate their time to assess somebody else's work without having anything in exchange. And the most difficult problem is that to have a very good peer review report, you need good reviewers that have to be experienced in the field, the field of the topic of the manuscript. And also they have to have a solid scientific background and be able to differentiate a good scientific paper from a less good. And unfortunately, there are not a large number of scientists that meet all these requirements. And how many of those are also experts in scientific, have a solid scientific background, and that be able to provide a good scientific report, a good review report, maybe 10. And unfortunately, all these 10 people receive a number of invitations every day to be peer reviewers on top on their work duties. And so it's very unlikely that they will accept all those invitations. So I think the challenge today is to find good reviewers. And as editors, we need to be aware that we will not have to accept all the review reports and give them for granted. The quality should not be given for granted. We have to reassess what our colleagues, reviewers have done, and maybe invite additional reviewers if we are not convinced that the review reports are fair or are of good quality. Unfortunately, this increases the turnaround time, which is something that authors don't want. Authors would like to receive a decision as quickly as possible, but sometimes that's not possible. So I think it's challenging because there is a very large number of submissions, but a small number of good reviewers. And balancing these two different aspects of scientific publication I find it quite difficult, and not just for lower impact factor journals, but also for high impact factor journals. It's always difficult to find good reviewers. So I think this is the task, the main challenge today.